থেকে। তিনি এখন আমাদের প্রেজেন্টেশন করবে। তো উনি বিভিন্ন রিসার্চ করেছেন, তার রিসার্চের ফোকাস হচ্ছে আমাদের বুদ্ধিস্ট লিটারেচার, এবং উনি এই বিষয়ে বিশেষ করে তাম্রলিপ্ত এবং এটার সাথে যে সম্পর্ক, শৃঙ্খল দেশের সাথে যে সম্পর্ক, সেই সম্পর্কে উনি কথা বলবেন। সো ফ্লোর ইজ ফর আওয়ার venerable.
Thank you so much. It is my privilege to address the sermon of the, as a keynote speaker, I am going to mention the relationship between Tamluk and Sri Lanka. And my speech based on chronicles of Sri Lanka, like as Mahavansa, Deepavansa, and also others, some sources. Title of my speech, a study on ancient relationship between Tamluk and Sri Lanka based on Sri Lankan chronicles. Especially, I think you all knows, according to Mahavansa, Prince Vijaya came to Sri Lanka from the place of Lat in India on that time. I don't know what the name of really present call for that Lat. Prince Vijay is known as the first king of the history of Sri Lanka. After him, King Panduvasa was ruled in Sri Lanka. Then Panduvasa Deva's grandson, King Pandukabaya, ruled for 17 years in Sri Lanka. Then King Mutasiva reigned in Ceylon or Sri Lanka. I mentioned the beginning of this history of Sri Lanka because Tamluk has a great connection with Sri Lanka. It started from King Tissa. We identify him as Devanapaya Tissa also. On that time, Empire Asoka was the ruled in India. The two rulers were friends, even though they had never met. It is mentioned in the 11 chapters of Mahavansa, and this is the Pali verse about the two rulers, Asoka and Tissa. Devanam piyatissocha dhamma sokocha te ime dve aditta sahayahi chirappa bhuti bhupati. This stanza discussed that two rulers, Asoka and Tissa, were pen pals. So Asoka gifted gold, silver, and ornaments for coronation. Empire Asoka sent the message also with gift, which is shown in this stanza of Chronicle Mahavansa. Aham buddhancha dhammancha sangancha saranangato upasakattan desesi sakyaputtasa sasane twampi mani ratnani uttamani naruttamang chittam pasada ittvana saddhayang saranang vaja. The message was like this: I already followed the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, become a lay devote of the great Sakyaputtasa Buddhism. I am request to you, the great noble king, filled your mind with the pleasure about the triple gem, about the Buddhism. The royal delegation is led by Arit, is from Sri Lanka. He came to in Sri Lanka and stayed in India for 5 months with the great hospitality of Empire Asokas. It is mentioned in Mahavansa like this: Panchamase vasitva te macha nicha sakkata vesaka sukka pakkadi dine dutacha niggata. This stanza depicts the port used by same Sri Lanka royal delegation from India. The delegation has used the port of Tamluk. According to these sources, I think Tamluk has established as well known fort of ancient India at that time. it is mentioned in this tense of Mahavansa like this. Tamalipti maruiha navate jambu kolake oroiha bhupan passinsu patwa dwadasan sidang ida. As mentioned here, the royal delegation navigated from port city Tamalipti and landed in Jambakolapatna of Sri Lanka. That is one of greatest importance attached to the port Tamalipti. I think everyone here knows that Sri Lanka is the Buddhist country. Sri Lankan Buddhism established by great Arahat Mahinda Thero. The great Mahinda Thero was the son of the great Empire Asoka. Because one of Buddha's speech. As Supreme Buddha mentioned, establishment of Buddhism in Sri Lanka will be long last. There are 75%, there are 75 more percent Buddhism in Sri Lanka. After the established Buddhism in Sri Lanka by Mahinda Thero, after lay disciples, ordinate followed by Prince Aritta, Queen Anula and royal princess also wanted to obtain and the Ceylon Buddhists want to sacred thing to worship and pay homage. Arahat Mahinda Thero demanded King Devanapatissa to bring his sister to obtain women. At that moment, Sanghamitta Therani, the daughter of Empire Asokas, Sanghamitta Therani was living in the capital city Patliputra in India. To fulfill this wish, the royal delegation visited Patliputra to bring the sacred thing, bench of great Bodhi and Arahat Sanghamitta. As you know, purpose of arrival of Arahat Sanghamitta was obtain women. That matter in mentioned in Mahavansa like this. Tata Sakkissi Gatva Dhammasokassa Santika Mahabodhin Sanghamittang Tering Anaitung Ida. This royal delegation landed and handed over the message of Arahat Mahinda to the empire Asoka. The empire Asoka arranged the group leader Arahat Sanghamitta. The chronicle Mahavansa mentioned that port Tamalipti in this stanza. It is as Tamalipting Anupatto Divase Heva Sattahi Deva Naga Manussate Sanni Patitwa Lahun Lahun. The Ceylon crowd with the members of 18 clans sailed from Tamalipti to Jambakolapatna in Sri Lanka. This stanza provides the great bond between ancient Sri Lanka and India. So we can see the port Tamalipti act a major role in this affairs. Now I am going to mention another important matter about Tamalipti and that mentioned in second chapter of Mahavansa. Rajyan Dhammena Palesung Tamalittahuvya Pure Yo Navantang Kanittoso Sagara Deva Auhayo. According to second chapter of Mahavansa, mention the lineage of Mahasammata. You know about in royal Mahasammata generation. The ruled name kingdoms like Taxila, Mithila, Kosambi, Kushinagar and Varanasi. Almost those 20 of them ruled in Kushinagar. Youngest of them was Sudinna. Sudinna's lineage ranked in port city Tamalipti. One king was Sagaradeva who ruled Tamalipti. So Sagaradeva name means king of the ocean. As Port Tamalipti also, king of the port of first of east coast of India. According to my personal point of view, that king Sagradeva name like the because Tamlipti well known port of all India on that time. Also in the past there was a direct trade between Tamlipti port and Sri Lanka. Especially I was visible after King Asoka's born with in Sri Lanka. There is another mention about Tamalipti. Buddhist record of the Western world has been written by Buddhist monk Hyun Sian. It mentions Tamalipti as the mention. This city was the very prosperous city located on the coast, a fertile land. Many gains, powers, and foods were fulfilled. Also, stone and brave people lived here. Buddhist, as well as non-Buddhist had lived there. About 1,000 monks lived here. There were about 20 temples and 50 churches. Inhabitants of the city were generally rich. A temple built by King Asoka can also be seen near the city of Tamalipti. This is the end of my speech. So I like to thank of all distinguished guests who pay attention for me, and my greatest gratitude to the organizer of this Tamalipti Mela who invite me as a keynote speaker, especially the Raja of Tamalipti Royal Heritage Site, Dr. Deependra Narayan Roy, and also Venerable Dr. Tirasatto, in spiritual master of Australia and Thailand. So everyone, Happy New Year and Triple Jam bless you.
Thank you so much for wonderful presentations. তিনি বিশেষ করে শ্রীলঙ্কার সাথে যে সম্পর্ক এবং বুদ্ধিজমের বইয়ের মধ্যে যে গাথাগুলো লিপিবদ্ধ হয়েছে সেই গাথাগুলো অবিকলভাবে একেবারে পালি অ্যান্ড সংস্কৃতির মধ্যে যেভাবে ছিল সেভাবেই তিনি উচ্চারণ করেছেন এবং কোটেশন দিয়ে। তাহলে এখান থেকে আমরা বুঝতে পারি আমরা এই তম্রলিপ্ত এলাকার এবং এই তমলুক এলাকার যে প্রসিদ্ধতা এবং সেটা তখনকার আজ থেকে আরও ২৫০০ বছর আগে এই পৃথিবীতে মানে সেটা এক্সিস্টিং ছিল। তো ধন্যবাদ অ্যান্ড থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ ফর ইয়োর ওয়ান্ডারফুল স্পিচ অ্যান্ড গিভ ইয়োর রিচার্জ পেপার্স ভেরি মাচ is fruitful and is reach our knowledge on this station to us. So our next, hello. ওখানে কেউ কি অনলাইনে আছে নাকি অ্যাড করেন? হ্যালো, হ্যাঁ, হ্যালো, অনলাইনে জন্য so we can take now the from our offline. So our next, they are not in online now because they cannot participate. Time এসেছে? এসেছে অনলাইনে জয়েন হচ্ছে? এটা কে? So our next speaker is Professor Dr. Shawe Sandra, keynote speakers from the Myanmar, and she will give us his presentations today. Now, the floor is for you.
Thank you, sir. Panditji. Yes, Panditji. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I prepared the PPT, so if you are interested, you can look to the PPT also. Yeah. So, firstly, I would like to greet to respected dignitaries, scholars, esteemed guests. I am honored and privileged to welcome you to all on the 3 days international seminar on international relationship with Asian temple literature in the context of Buddhism. This monumental gathering held from 26 to 28 December 2024, the historic temple literature Royal Heritage Palace brings together some of the most brilliant minds and influential leaders from across the globe to delve into the Asian legacy and enduring relevance of the temple literature in the world of Buddhism. Because I am a Buddhist, that's why I would like to focus my speech from the Buddhist point of view. So, firstly, I would like to thank to organizers of the temple literature, Janat Swasila, sorry, my pronunciation will be something wrong, Krishi or Kuti, Shield Mila, the collaboration with the Temple Literature Universal Heritage Association and association with the Itilas Academy, the Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies, Faculty of Arts, University of Dhaka, and the Global Center for Sustainable Agriculture, Food Security. This conference is a testament for the power of interdisciplinary dialogue and international cooperation. So this event is greeted by the presence of the distinguished luminaries, including His Majesty, the Raja King, Dr. Dipendra Narayan, the 64th King of the Temple Literature Royal Heritage Palace, Professor Dr. Kanchang Kumar Bomaik, Senior Assistant National Expert and Honorable District Ministers for Puja Midinipu districts, sorry. And then another one is Honorable Presidents of Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission, Sawarsharam Tamluk, and Venerable Sirawatso Tero, the Global Peace Ambassador and Spiritual Master and Registered Mediator, whose endeavors transcend border. And another one I would like to thank, and I appreciate my thanks to my respected Venerable Khenpo Tashi Wosa, President of the Kamapak Shamanic Association from Nepal, and Dr. Arun Kumar, he is like my friend, now he went back already. So we are also trying to esteem from here many vice chancellors also from Mahatma Gandhi universities, also Vidyasagar University also for that. Yes, please, yeah, because someone left, they will be angry to me. That's why I appreciate to all of you. Yes. So now we are exploring our paper. Yeah? So my topic is about temporal liberty in the record of finance, the Buddhist perspective on its historical and cultural significance in the 4th century AD. Here I mentioned about the introduction. So I'm listening from yesterday, also from today, also many of the scholars and many of the experts, they are explaining about this place, but I would like to that's why I would like to conclude a little bit short one. So about the Ferdinand, his travel log. I take the record from the records of Buddhist kingdoms by Ferdinand, from the written by the sorry. Yes, yeah. So I mentioned I would like to take the record from the Record of Buddhist Kingdoms, provides invaluable insight into the role of Tampa Lipta as a significant center for Buddhist activities and international connections. So please, another slide. No? So about the 4th century AD, I would like to mention, by the time of Fainam visit, he himself to tried the port of city and the nexus of Buddhist learning center in this city. And he mentioned how he was staying here, what he was saw, and what he is doing here. So Fainan describes travel that Tampa Lipta was not just a trading hub, but also the center for the dissemination of Buddhist teachings in Southeast Asia and beyond. And next slide, please. And his records, from his records, according to the records of Buddhistic kingdoms by Chinese monk Fainan, he mentioned that in the chapter, that book in the chapter 37, he mentioned that Champar and Tampa Lepti stay and there for 3 years, he mentioned. Most of the books, they mention 2 years, but in the books of the Buddhistic kingdoms by Chinese monk Fainan, then he mentioned there 3 years. So we should research for that, who is correct or who is wrong, yeah. And that is, he mentioned that he stayed and working here 3 years, he mentioned, and take ship to Sinhala or Ceylon, nowadays Sri Lanka. And he mentioned, continuously mentioned that his journeys is for nearly 50 yojanas from Champa to Tampa Lepti. Before he arrived to Tampa Lepti, he was leaving from Champa. So he mentioned that Tampa Lepti and Champa is a 50 yojana distance. So another slide, please. So after that, Chinese Buddhist monk Fainan, he mentions 4 points. Yeah, here I mentioned in the PPT. First one is monasteries. How many monasteries he found? Fainan reported seeing 24 monasteries in the Tampa Lepta. He stayed in the area to copy Buddhist texts. The second one he mentioned was location. Fainan described Tampa Lepta as a seaport town. The third one, stay. Fainan stayed in, study. Fainan studied Sanskrit in Tampa Lepti for 2 years. Here he mentioned himself 2 years, but other books he mentioned 3 years also. And the departure. He departed a merchant ship from Tampa Lepti to return to China, and on the way he was stayed in Sri Lanka. After Sri Lanka, he left to Java, and then after that, finally he reached to China. So that is his route. So next slide, please. He mentioned that there are 24 monasteries. In there, monks are dwelling and practicing some literature and study and meditation. Also, in the other books he mentioned, all the monks are very disciplined monks. By the law of Buddha, also flourishing in that time. Here, Fainan stayed for 2 years writing the sutras, because he copied some sutras from Nalanda, and then after that, the Taxila University also, after that, he copied that sutras in this whole sacred town. At the beginning of the winter, the wind was favorable, because in the rainy season, they cannot travel in the sea route. That's why after he is waiting here up to winter. At the winter, he leaving from here, and after 14 days, sailing day and night, and then they reached to Sri Lanka, at that time, Sinhala. So next slide, please. So another one is, the people said the distance from Tampa Lepta to Sri Lanka is nearly 700 yojanas. So another one book he mentioned, I mentioned about the references, detailed references in these slides. So about the monasteries and monastic life. Tamluk was a home of several monasteries, which served as a center of learning and spiritual practices. Finer noted a disciplined and harmonious lifestyle of the monks, reflecting the ideas of Vinaya Pitaka. It means at that time, all the monks staying and dwelling in this place are followed by Vinaya too much straightly. And about the pilgrimage and maritime links. Tamluk, next slide, no? Tamluk served as a departure point for pilgrimage traveling to Sri Lanka to visit sacred relics and stupa, because Sri Lanka had a Buddha tooth relics. It is very famous until now. It is celebrated every year in the month of August and September. Painam himself boarded the ship to Tamluk to Sri Lanka. But one record in his book, he mentioned that when he was nearly 13 years in India, but he never remembered his hometown to China. But when he reached to Sri Lanka and when he going to offer the Buddha tooth relics, at that time, he feeling so sad because he saw the fan. Fan is like a Hindi panga. It's a handmade fan made by silk. That one was offered to the relics temple. So when he saw that fan made by silk from China, when he saw that fan, he missing to his hometown, China. Yeah. So at that time, his eyes are full of tears and he cried. So at that time, first time he mentioned that is the first time he remembered to his hometown, China. But other times he was too much engaged with the study and learning and copy and translating about the Buddhist literature and Buddhist texts in India, and he was satisfied himself and he happy here. He never remember his hometown. So that is our record. And about the cultural significance of the Tamluk is, it is lies in the role of the bridge between India and Southeast Asian Buddhist traditions. So that is also many scholars, they are mentioned about in this conference. It is also mentioned preservation of the scriptures in here also, and one of the main places to spread the Buddhist art and architecture from here, and another one is integration of trade and religion, because that ancient time, for most of the missionary groups, we cannot go by ourselves, together along with the trade routes, together with the merchants. So even in the northern Buddhism also, southern Buddhism also, we are going together along with the trade routes by merchants' vehicles. So that's why this point is also important for the missionary. Most of the missionary person, they are living from here. And another one is in the slide number 12, I mentioned about the decline and legacy. So it is, I will skip because it is also declined for a long time. And finally, I want to conclude, because many papers, I'm also listening carefully, but even they are talking in Hindi, I'm not understand. In Bengali also, I'm not understand. But whatever they are talking in English, I'm understand. But what I realize is everybody read the paper about the history, about this Tamluk. It is all are already past. That is the past events. We are reading one by one. But for the future, how to preserve to this area, how we do to famous. Because of before lunchtime, Dr. Sirijan, or I forgot his name again, Dr. Sirijan Sandip from Hyderabad, he mentioned that is a very meaningful presentation and lecture. We should understand, we have to follow his suggestions, because I am not a historian, I am not a architecture, and I'm not a Asian expert, because I'm not from India, but I'm too much inspired and too much interesting to this place. That's why I share my time and I'm trying to come here. it is a very difficult and very tough for me. So in India, a lot of cities and towns in India, but most of our Buddhist people from the whole world, we know Tampa Lipti because of the Asian holy people. So we have to preserve, we have to hand over their effort, how they are doing and how they, because of them, this place is important and this place is famous. So for that value, we have to keep and we have to hand over for our this generation and next generation also. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and again, congratulations and gratefulness for your kind presentations. And it's really enrich our knowledge about your uh, presentations with the research and your times. So thank you so much, our Professor Dr. Sohit Sandra from the Myanmar. Thank you so much. And next, we are going to our souvenirs who present their paper yesterday. Two of the presenters, please call off the stage by our professor.
Professor Chandranath Saha and Professor Juthika Pandey from Calcutta Girls College, please come to the dais. We felicitate you. রাজীব দা We are very glad to announce that Dr. Thirasatro Thiro will give them the flowers. আমরা এখন প্রফেসর চন্দ্রনাথ সাহা স্যারকে ব্যাচ, টিকা, পুষ্পস্তবক দিয়ে বরণ করছি। Professor Juthika Pandey.
we are very much delighted and very much happy that even we are a very few participant in here because most of our students and the participant they went outside. But in a online, many of participants they are watching this in a Zoom link on YouTube link. They are watching our programs. So and this is also making the video. If you don't think that this is the small participant, it's not the small participant because we have a Zoom link and online link online also, and also is published in a book. So this is the I think very big events, even the small participant. So create করা হয়েছে কারণ ওনারা অলরেডি বারবার কল দিচ্ছে আমাকে। So our next participant is Professor Associate Professor Mili Rahman, and he's our organizing partner of Otisa Itihash Academy, Dhaka, and also she is a professor from the Dhaka International University, and she is going to present her articles. The floor is for Mili Rahman. So everyone claps your hand.
Thank you so very much for allowing me to say something in front of this kind of distinguished guests. I'm very afraid in one sense because I'm not that much prepared, and I feel very happy to be here. It's a great opportunity for me to present myself in such a field. And this is the first time I am talking about the Tamralipto or the Buddhism. First of all, as I am the student of literature, I would like to tell that there is a close connectivity between the history and literature. History and literature, these two things are entirely connected. Because if I think about the novels like War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy or the Diary of Anna Frank, we will see that how the history turns into literature. So history and literature, it is wholeheartedly connected. And these places historical period and events while conveying the lived experiences of individual within them. These works often a more emotional and personal understanding of history. And moreover, literature can shape the history by influencing the public opinion, by inspiring movements, and by reflecting shifts in social norms as well as the values. So whatever the values is present today, it was not at the past, 50 or 30 years back. And one more thing, both disciplines contribute to our knowledge of the past. While history focuses on object facts, literature is talking about the fictions. And history and literature, these are the complementary thing for each and other. They mix the complementation for each other. With history offering the facts, literature giving the voices to the people behind those facts, how the facts are working, enriching, of course, our collective memories and understand the world. Now, I would like to talk about the role of kings. Here we know, a one-man show, we can see that Dipendranath Roy, sir, doctor, he really did a lot for just enriching, for just promoting this kind of religion. Those who are the king, they have a great contribution to the religion for accelerating the religious views and other things because they can patronize. They usually, if we look back to our history, we will see that they are patronizing the specific faith on religion, influencing cultural and social norms. Their support often includes building places of worship, founding religious institutions, and enacting laws that favored the certain beliefs. For example, we can tell that Emperor of Constantine's, of Roman Empire, they contributed a lot for spreading the religion called Christianity. And the Roman Empire led to its widespread adoption, while we can talk about King Ashoka. King Ashoka, who promotes the Buddhism in India. And he also helped it flourishing. King also used religion to legitimate their rules, reinforcing its role in governance and society. So in nowadays, in 21st century, there is a king we have, Dipandranath Roy sir, who is really trying to do something for enhancing the knowledge of Buddhism. It's really amazing, and I am very much proud to be a part of it. So now I would like to talk about the Tamralipta. What is all about the Tamralipta? And we know you have a lots of idea about Tamralipta, and it's a privilege to be a speaker at the last time, because the previous speakers, they can talk a lot. They have already given you a lots of information. So it's a privilege. I need not to talk more, but I would like to focus one more thing, that this Tamluk is situated in West Bengal. We know it was a port city. It's very, very significant, contributed to spread the Buddhism. It has started the spreading this kind of religion in 2nd century BC. And for the last many years, it is doing its work. And of course, it positioned along the Bay of Bengal. As it has a great connectivity with the Bay of Bengal, it became an important trade hub. So whenever a country will be, a place will be a trade hub, so it will have an opportunity, it will have a privilege to connect with so many countries of the world. So this trade hub has a privilege to connect India with Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka, and China. The city's role in the dissemination of Buddhism was pivotal for this reason, because it is a port area. Especially after the Emperor Ashoka's promotion of religion in 3rd century, Tamralipta hosted the monasteries. And scholars who translated and spread the Buddhist scriptures, especially from the Mahanaya situation or tradition, to religions like Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, and Cambodia. And we can see the representation of these countries as well in our conference. So as a center of pilgrimage, Tamralipta attracted Buddhist scholars, and monks included the China's traveler, and we have already mentioned a lots of name of that travelers, that people who documented its influences. So we have a documented history. History with documentation, it has some more cemented value. The city also facilitated the exchange of Buddhist art, influencing the architecture and sculpture of South Asia, including sites like Borobudur in Indonesia and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. During the Gupta period, there was a lots of things was happening in Tamralipta. So without any failure, we can tell that this place has a great contribution. Not only this place, this people also has a great contribution to spread the Buddhism in all over the world. So we should focus on this place, and we had to explore this place as well as the people of this place, so that we might get an overall idea, a holistic idea about the Buddhism of overall the world. Thank you so much for having patience. If you have any question, you may ask me. I'm free. I'll be happy to answer if you have any. None of you. Oh, thanks. Thank you so very much. Thanks for tolerating me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Millie Rahman, she enriched us with her knowledge. And তিনি তার উপস্থাপনার মাধ্যমে তিনি বিশেষ করে কিভাবে আমাদের ইতিহাসের সাথে ধর্মীয় বিষয়বস্তু বা স্থাপনাগুলো সম্পর্কযুক্ত, এবং সেটা কিভাবে মানে আবার ধর্মীয় বিষয় স্থাপনাগুলো আবার ইতিহাসের সমৃদ্ধতা লাভ করে থাকেন। কারণ এখানে যে স্থাপনাটা হয়েছে, এটা একটা ধর্মীয় কারণে এটা হয়েছে, মানুষের উপাসনালয়ের জন্য এই উপাসনাটা হয়েছে, কিন্তু এটার আবার একটা ইতিহাস লেখা হচ্ছে, এবং বছর পর বছর যত পুরনো হয় ততই মানে ওই জিনিসের প্রতি আমাদের আকর্ষণীয়তা বৃদ্ধি পায়, যেটাকে আমরা যদি বৌদ্ধ ভাষায় বলি অ্যাটাচমেন্ট, বা আমাদের সাথে আর সেটার একটা সম্পর্ক, মানে আমরা ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল একটা সম্পর্ক তৈরি হয়। তো ঠিক এইভাবেই মানে আপনার ধর্মীয় স্থাপনাগুলো কিভাবে একটি ইতিহাসের অংশ হয়, একটি সংস্কৃতির অংশ হয় এবং একটি আমাদের জীবনের অংশ হয়, সেভাবেই উনি তার উপস্থাপনার মাধ্যমে আমাদেরকে সেটা বুঝিয়েছেন। তো ধন্যবাদ এবং কৃতজ্ঞতা জানাচ্ছি মিলি রহমান এবং তিনি হচ্ছেন অ্যাসোসিয়েট প্রফেসর ঢাকা ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ইউনিভার্সিটি এবং মেম্বার অফ ইতিহাস ডিপার্টমেন্ট একাডেমি ইন ঢাকা। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। আমাদেরকে ক্রিয়েট হয়েছে নতুন আইডি হচ্ছে না, হ্যাঁ নতুন করে করেন, ওরা তো বসেই আছে। হ্যাঁ ইউটিউব তাহলে বন্ধ করে দাও, কারণ তো নিতে হবে, ইউটিউব কেটে দাও, কারণ ওনারা তো বসে আছে 2 ঘন্টা।